I think in this day and age, it's so easy to just assume that people believe the same things as their parents. I mean, in most cases, you're raised to believe what your parents believe. The older I get, I see my views begin to differ from my family's views. And I think that's really cool to see, because I'm not required to believe what they believe because I don't agree with many things that my parents believe. That's what makes America so great, is that we get that choice, we get that freedom to be the person we want to be. I think it's really important to see the transition of views between each generation of the family. My grandpa is going to be interviewed in this, and my mom after him, and my grandmother and my nana. Not everyone has the same views, and that's what's so great about it, is they don't have to. I'm Kennedy Kerrigan, and this is my story.
Well, you get down the fiddle and you get down the bow, kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor, dance in the kitchen till the morning light, Louisiana Saturday night. Waiting in the front yard, sitting on a log, single shot rifle and a one-eyed dog. Time to come my kinfolk in the moonlight, Louisiana Saturday night. Well, you get down the fiddle and you get down the bow, kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor, dance in the kitchen till the morning light, Louisiana Saturday night.
Well, I grew up in a small town across the river east of Natchitoches, Louisiana, by the name of Montgomery, Louisiana. My parents was James A., known as Doc, and Delee Bullock Lonadier. My dad died when I was 11 years old, so I didn't have much opinion of anything except going out in the woods and hunting and fishing and being with my friends. But for my mom, I guess when I was about 15 years old, I started forming my own opinions on religion, on politics, on work ethics. Certainly I think that there should be maybe more extensive background checks. Too many criminal elements have access to guns. And if the United States government and if the state government would do their job in identifying these people and making sure that they were not around or not able to go into a store and buy an AR-15 or an AK-47, then it would make more sense all the way across the board. If you take someone's life, you should give your life. I think that the death penalty is fitting crime or fitting penalty for a fitting crime. You have somebody that takes someone's life in a fit of anger, fit of violence, and then we're going to support them. We're going to feed and house them for 40 additional years? No, I don't think so. I'm a traditionalist, and I'm a Christian. The Bible says that man should be joined to woman and they cleave as one. Doesn't say anything about man and man, woman and woman. Homosexuality is an abomination to God. Now, having said that, you can be a practicing homosexual, and you can say, uh-oh, this isn't right. Ask forgiveness, because God, Jesus Christ, forgives everything. If you ask forgiveness for this, God will forgive you if you ask it with a sincere heart and don't practice it anymore. If an abortion in the early stages is required to save the mother's life, then I think it should be aborted, okay? But during this last election, you had one side that was totally against it and the other side that says we can abort up to whatever many weeks it is, which is just about a full-grown baby. I think stricter laws on the border, a wall, additional border agents will stop a lot. I think that the right move, I know there's a lot of talk about the president-elect is going to deport so many millions of people. I think he's been clear all this time that he's going to deport the criminal element in illegal aliens. And I fully support that. And I think anyone in their right mind would support that too. People that try to play by the rules have been on the list to gain citizenship for years and years and years. They should not take a back seat to these ones that have illegally come over here. If you start paying $15 an hour or somewheres that is well north of what it is right now, who's going to pay for that? Well, I'll tell you who's going to pay for it. It's going to be the taxpayers. Somebody's got to absorb that pay hike, and guess who it's going to be? The customer. You may start spending $8 for one of those little burgers that's not much. Social Security is not an entitlement. Social Security is paid in. I earn that. It's mine. Yeah, for the protection of the law officers. Now, having said that, not, as I said, upstanding law officers, not all of them are like that. But I'd be willing to bet, if I could look into a crystal ball, that most of them are. If there's a better way, if popular vote is a better way, and I fail to see that, in my opinion, but if there's a better way, I think it should be talked about. I think the Congress should bring it up. I think we, the people, should be asked our opinion on it, and we make a decision based on what we, the people, say, okay? But it shouldn't be addressed just because your man or your woman lost the election. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Of course it's fair. If it needs to be changed, there's a proper avenue to take to change it. I wholeheartedly support Donald Trump on his views for a couple of reasons. Our government is so broken right now. We don't know who's here. We don't know who's coming in. They got ISIS people coming in on airplanes, coming across the border from Mexico, coming down from the border, across the border from Canada. We have no way of knowing who these people are or how to vet them. We're not doing a very good job. Not in my opinion. And I think because of the things that I've seen on the news, you know, the hidden cameras, the statistics, a lot of the Planned Parenthood organizations or branches dismember children. They abort babies, maybe that shouldn't be aborted, and they sell the body parts like it's a used car. Jesus Christ gives the redemption, not the federal government.
Okay, do I pass out these?
Oh,
There you go.
well, one of them is to get all these roots out of here. Because if you don't get all the roots out of here, they're going to grow back. So all these bulbs and everything. My parents were I.W. and Lena Burns White. They were very strict, believed in us living for the Lord. Probably about 25 or so, because I didn't understand before what their beliefs really meant. And I have to unfortunately say that my daddy was involved in the Ku Klux Klan. So they did not believe that black people were equal to white. Now my mother didn't feel that way, but my daddy did. Do not believe in abortion. When I became a Christian, that totally changed the way I viewed it. before that time, I did not realize the process of when a baby became a baby. Whenever I got older and I realized that it is a person at conception, I'm like, nope, that we should not be taking these babies. These are babies from the very beginning, and I am strongly against it. I think that they should be much stricter and not just handing them out to everybody that wants one. That they should not be given to the person immediately. There should be a thorough background check on them and their close immediate family. I think so in some cases, and those cases being with a child, because there are people, whether it be man or woman, that molest children, they kill children, they dismember children, and that's one thing that having children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren of my own, it's one thing that I cannot condone, and I think that they need to be to the fullest. Nope, don't believe in gay marriage. I believe that you love a person that is a homosexual. God says in His Word that you are to love everybody, and that means everyone, even the people that are in prison that have done the worst things. You do not condone their sin and what they do, but I do not, because the Word says so, believe in gay marriage. Well, let's see. I know there's a lot of things that we cannot do right now because of the borders are not secure, but I believe in securing the borders. Now, I do have some thoughts about people that have been in the United States for years, that their immediate family could be brought over here, and they could go through the process of becoming a citizen. This is our country, and there's so many that come in and want to change it from what it was started out to be. And no, I do not believe that just anybody and everybody should come to the United States and expect to be here. I think that we should be very, very strict on who is to come into this country. Yes, I do. I think it should be increased. I don't mean go way over the top, but I think it should be increased because there's a lot of young men and women out there that are just barely making it, and they're working hard and they're barely making it. And with the prices of everything being so high, that and them getting minimum wage, they can't make it. I believe that each vote that each person votes should stand on who gets elected into the country. I do not think that Planned Parenthood should be funded for, say, young women that just want to go out and be free with their bodies and enjoy the immoral life, or whatever you want to call it. I think it depends on the individual. No, I don't think that they should be brought into the United States now. I think the ones that we have here that are dangerous to our country, because there's a lot of them that are actual Americans that have turned their religion to Muslim. Well, they should be welcome here. You know, they are Americans, but they should. And you can't say that they should be monitored, because that's picking out one set of individuals, and that's not right. But the ones that are wanting to come in, no, I don't think they should be able to come in. I think that Social Security should be practiced until a person passes away. They should get their Social Security. I believe that we say that our younger people are not going to have Social Security, and I think that's wrong. I think that they work and they pay their Social Security in, and I think that it should be continued. I think they should, because if they wear the body cameras, they can let other people see what happens, and it could save their job, their reputation, and their life, you know, and someone else's, because if they have someone on the body camera that is causing crimes or doing crimes or whatever, they can be picked up because they've been caught on the body camera.
David Lonadier and Linda Lonadier. Small town upbringing. When I was little, my mom was liberal and a Democrat, and my dad was very conservative and a Republican. Probably starting at about 16, my parents sat me down and explained to me all of the information and background on the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and told me that it was up to me to choose which one that I thought fit me better, and I would need to register as such. If you were in a situation where your life was at risk as a mother, that I can understand people that do that. Me personally, as a mother, I don't think I can ever do that. It's hard for me to say when rape is involved. I feel like that the baby should still be born, and then put it for adoption if you don't think that you could raise a child that was conceived during a rape. But I am against abortion. My dad thought it was very important for me to know how to handle a gun and shoot it, and is probably very disappointed that I don't own a gun today. But I'm still very much pro Second Amendment. I do think that we could have some stricter laws on who is able to purchase guns, and I think that could be done, but I don't think that the Second Amendment should be taken away. Yes, I am a firm believer in the death penalty, and pretty much going back to the Bible, an eye for an eye, and I have no problem with the state. And I think the state should decide, each state should decide. I don't think it should be a federal mandate, but I am a firm believer in the death penalty. Now, we'll revert back to the Bible, and the Bible specifically says that marriage is between a man and a woman. Our country was founded on Christian beliefs, and in my eyes, who you want to love is your business, but as far as gay marriage, I have friends that are gay, and I still do not think that they should be allowed to marry. I think it's a very sacred union, and that it should not be legal. I do feel like that if someone that lives in a different country wants to come and live the American dream, that they should have that right. But we have laws in place, and it should not be as easy as just coming over the border. I feel like building a wall may help on our southern border, and that we need to be more diligent in allowing people over that don't have the paperwork that they need, the background checks that they need. But that's, we still can't control, no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to control every single person that comes into this country. I feel like if you go through the steps, the legal steps, in order to become a citizen, then you should be allowed to do so. But the day and age that we live in right now, and the threat of ISIS and terrorists and people that want to hurt us just because we're Americans, I think we need to be very diligent and very focused on keeping as many people that have those beliefs out of our country. Well, I think if they're already here and they're illegal, then they need to begin the process of becoming legal, or they need to go back to whatever country they came from. I feel like the federal minimum wage should be raised. Definitely, I don't think that it should be raised to $15, but it should be raised from $7. I feel like if somebody is working and doing their best and trying and working 40 hours a week, then they should not be living in poverty. It should, because it was established for a specific, the Electoral College was established for a specific reason by our forefathers, and that reason was so that no particular or specific part of the United States would control the election. So, like all of the southern states, or the western states, or the eastern states. So, I believe that the Electoral College should stay in place. I have mixed views on Planned Parenthood. I do not support what they do with abortions, and then with all of the news that came out that they sell body parts makes me sick to my stomach. So I think that, but I know that Planned Parenthood gives health care to women who may not otherwise be able to receive it. So I'm torn. I think that if the federal government does give money to it, that it should definitely be watched closely, and it should be only for specific things, that it should never be used to fund abortions. I wholeheartedly agree with what Donald Trump said about Muslim immigration. I feel at this time in our country, in our world, that there's no way to know whether or not that they are part of ISIS or they're terrorists, but that they should not be allowed in our country until some type of system can be set up so where they can be vetted and it be determined without a doubt that they don't have any Muslim ties, and the Muslim beliefs are against Westerners, which are us, and their beliefs on women and many other things that don't make me feel safe. So in order for our country to remain safe and protected, and I feel like at this time that we need to do everything in our power to limit and control who gets in our country right now and who doesn't. I believe that it should. I believe that money is taken out of our checks, continues to be taken out of our checks. I don't feel comfortable today that Social Security will be there for me when I need it, even though that I've put in for the last 20 years and will continue to put in until I retire. And I completely don't believe that Social Security will be there for you or any of the other people your age. So it needs to be revamped and redone so that it will be there for us, so that the money that we're giving now will continue to go to those who've worked their whole lives. If the policemen and policewomen have cameras on them, then that will record exactly what leads up to the decisions that they make. But I would never judge a policeman for the decision that they had to make, because it's a split second. You don't get to sit there and go, well, if I shoot this guy and he doesn't have a gun, or if I don't shoot him and he has a gun and he kills me and my partner, and he goes on to kill 7 other civilians, they're in a tough position, and they're trained, and I feel like most of the time they make good decisions. There are some times that, they can make better decisions. But yes, I feel like they should all wear body cams.
Yeah, you get down the fiddle and you get down the bow. Kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light. Louisiana Saturday night.
My mother took us to church and taught us to be Christians, and My father worked very hard to support us and believed that that's what a man should do for his family. Politics was not a big thing in our family. My mother and father, for their entire lives, were Democrats, and that's how I was raised. But they never gave us advice, political advice. They never talked about politics ever. Although I did register to be a Democrat because I was liberal and I was a rebel, to be honest. And I didn't believe in conservative ideas. I do not believe in abortion. I believe that it is murder. No, they should not be changed. As far as, especially living in the South, guns are a way of life. And if someone wants to buy a gun or get a gun, they will get it. Guns will get in the wrong hands. Yes, I do believe in the death penalty. That will be a very difficult thing to do. There are so many borders to America, and people come over the borders illegally thinking that they're going to get a better life and be happier. My solution to it, or what I think would work, is that they have so many, the borders have to be, we have to have people to guard the borders to allow people to come over, and I think that there are things that should be set up that they have to do before they can immigrate into America. Yes, because right now the minimum wage, if it is a person with a family, they cannot live. I don't see how they survive on minimum wage. And they work hard, and normally those people work harder, longer hours and get much less pay. I'm on the fence with that because I feel like the people who vote, it's not really who America chose. With electoral votes, if they get certain states, they can win electoral votes, but that's not the way that they should be elected because it's not the majority of the people. Yes, it should be funded. I think that education is the key to power in young people and success. So the more education that we can give them, it will make this country better. That's a really scary issue. Muslims, we don't know, and I realize that in all races that there are good and bad people, but how do we know who are the good and bad people? I think that there should be a process, and it should be a very rigid process for Muslims to come into America. Absolutely. Yes, I think they should. Because there's two sides to every story, and we don't always know what the story is. And for us to realize how difficult they put their life on the line every day and how difficult their job is. By wearing body cameras, we see the other side of the story.
At the end of this, looking back, I've learned so many new things about my family, and I think it's just so good to be able to talk to my family about their beliefs and see how mine differ from that, because it's so important to know that everyone has that natural right to believe and be the person they want to be.